700 Epstein flights. Let's get into day one of the trial.
It's the Mega Man, and nah, that doesn't stand for hate. We're just saying it's time for education to be great.
Hello, everyone. This is Make Education Great Again. I'm your host, Chris Morris. Today's topic, 700 unknown Epstein flights have been revealed by the FAA in connection with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. We've had day one. We have a witness coming on who was the pilot for Epstein for something like 20 years or maybe more. I can't remember. Let's see. It might have been closer to 30 years, people. And he's going to be on the, he's going to be standing trial today. He was also giving a little bit of his take yesterday. We're going to get into so much stuff. I mean, we had outfits being bought and purchased for the victims. You had all kinds of promises, gifts being given to the victims to lure these people in, and just see the level, the depths that the defense team is going, even quoting the Bible to try to somehow paint her as innocent. It's very disgusting, in my opinion, but we got so much to unpack. Day one of the trial has occurred. Let's break into the main takeaways. So here is the first article I'm going to bring to your attention. This is from the Gateway Pundit, and basically this is just the news that is interesting. It's just now been revealed, and it was an accident. So as the Maxwell trial opens, you'll see right here the FAA accidentally reveals over 700 previously unknown Jeffrey Epstein flights. So as the trial, it says it right there, Maxwell is known for her close association with the financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who died in jail in New York City. It says, according to the insider, the records reveal 704 previously unknown flights taken by Epstein planes. These include hundreds of trips from a 3-year gap in the public record from 2013 to 2016 when the jet's movements were unaccounted for. Interesting enough. And so here's another inside little tweet from it. Federal Aviation Administration, that's the FAA. They accidentally provided the insider. I don't know how he accidentally provided that, but whatever. We'll take it. All right. From 704 unknown flights. Hopefully some information comes on. We can find out who's on those flights. This is shocking news as the Ghislaine trial kicks off this week. Now, unfortunately, this article doesn't have a whole lot of content. We don't know who are on those flights. At least that's not being released to the public yet. But this is some breaking information. Now, just to kind of give you some of the highlights, I can go all over the place, but I'm going to go ahead and move here. Here's an article from the ABC News talking about how, hey, man, here's a trial. It's begun, and here are some key takeaways from day one. So it says attorneys delivered opening statements Monday in a much-anticipated criminal trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, the longtime associate of notorious serial sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell faces 6-count indictments for allegedly conspiring with and aiding Epstein in his sexual abuse of underage girls between 1994 and 2004. About a 10-year period, a jury of 5 men and 7 women were impaneled earlier in the day, kicking off a legal drama that is expected to continue for at least 6 weeks. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit. I want to tell you about a young girl named Jane, Assistant U.S. Attorney Laura Pomerantz. Now, that should be the prosecutor, who I believe, I'm not sure if this is the one or not, okay, so forgive me here, but I believe she might be the daughter of Comey, which makes things suspect in my opinion, or at least that's supposedly on the prosecution team. I'm not sure if this is the same one. Her last name, who knows how they got married, but anyway, moving on, I digress. Prosecutors have alleged that Maxwell played a key role in a multi-state sex trafficking scheme in which she allegedly befriended and later enticed and groomed multiple minors to engage in sex acts with Epstein, and was also at times present for and involved in the abuse herself. Interesting. So here's just some sketches from the the masked up. Of course, everyone's got to be masked up. Jury proceedings. Jane, one of the 3 alleged minor victims who is expected to testify using pseudonyms as Maxwell's trial, was just 14 years old when she reportedly met Maxwell and Epstein at a summer camp. The beginning of what she called a nightmare that would last for years. This man and woman were predators. Pomerantz said she knew what was going on, what was going to happen to the girls. There were times when she was in the room when it happened. Okay, so I mean, that's pretty egregious right there. Maxwell, who has been held without bail since her arrest in July 2020, has pleaded not guilty somehow to the charges and proclaimed her innocence. On Monday, Maxwell's defense attorney, Bobby Sternham, I think I said that right, argued that her client is merely a convenient stand-in for the deceased Epstein, whom she cast as the true criminal. So this is how the defense is taking it. They're basically saying, why are you blaming women? You can't blame women. Why are you blaming women for something that clearly is men's fault? Okay, and they even referenced Eve and how she got blamed for the sin and the fall of man, which I think is hilarious how they bring up the Bible where convenient, no matter how ridiculous the attempt is. Jeffrey Epstein manipulated the world around him and people around him, including Ghislaine. He said Maxwell is on trial because of her association with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, he also sought to undermine the forthcoming testimony of the alleged minor victims in the indictment, calling their stories thin and suggesting that the accusers had been influenced by lawyers, media, and money. False memories can be created, he said, and each accuser has shaken the money tree of Epstein's estate. Now, when he says each accuser has shaken the money tree, there basically was like this victims fund that was put up from Epstein's estate, and I think most of these people who are on trial did, get allocated a certain amount of money of the victims fund, and they were like, $3 million. So it's big money, but there's so many witnesses that have come forward with this. It still makes it pretty thin in my case to try to defend it based on the fact that they did get monetary means. Anyway, on the first day of the trial, as it came to a close, the prosecution called its first witness, and that was the pilot Larry Vysotsky to take the stand. Vysotsky talked about the flight routes from St. Thomas and other locations associated with Epstein, and he characterized Maxwell's relationship with Epstein as a couple-ish. They were a couple-ish. So in other words, there was basically some debate as to whether or not Maxwell was the girlfriend of Epstein and how romantic that was. And basically they were asking him, like, what's your take on the relationship? Was it business? Was it personal? He basically saying, I believe it was personal, but they didn't go out of their way to be too lovey-dovey. He called it couple-ish, whatever that means. He never saw them engaging in like holding hands or kissing, but he definitely thought it was, basically a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. That's the nuts and bolts of it. So anyway, that's just one take. There's another one from the Daily Beast that kind of has another take on what happened on day one of the trial, because of course we don't have video footage because it's ridiculous and they're trying to cover it. But anyway, the title of this one's interesting. Skullgirl outfits, gifts to teens, sex abuse every day. The Fed slammed Ghislaine Maxwell on the first day of the trial. So they vowed to expose Ghislaine Maxwell as the best friend and the right hand who allegedly lured teens into his sex trafficking ring. There she is. They were young girls who dreamed about becoming professional musicians, models, or actresses. Thank you. But they often came from poor families and their parents needed money. They were the perfect targets for the pair of high society predators who dazzled them with famous wealth and promised them to the world. So y'all can read this article. I'll try to leave the slew of the articles and the contents in the description. But here's the last one I wanted to just get into here. It's a Ghislaine Maxwell trial to enter the second day. And this is where they're just basically highlighting that there's going to be a lot more airtime given to this pilot, who in my opinion should be culpable unless I'm missing something, because you're the one who was flying these people to engage in these acts, and you did it, you were there for like multiple decades. So at this point, what does it say? Yeah, 1991 to 2019, you're talking nearly 30 years. You were the pilot, and so how are you not culpable, in my opinion? How are you not like aiding and abetting this stuff? But anyway, he's the one who describes their relationship as couple-ish. And so right here, sex trafficking trial enters the second day of the testimony with the longtime pilot of her alleged accomplice, the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, returning to the witness stand. It says Maxwell's 59. She pleaded not guilty to 6 counts arising for the allegedly procuring teen girls for Epstein, some as young as 14. Epstein killed himself, in August 2019 while jailed awaiting his own trial. Lawrence Paul Vysotsky Jr., I believe I said his name, Vysotsky, who worked for Epstein for 30 years basically, began his testimony on Monday afternoon. He testified that Maxwell was approximately 30 when he met her in 91 and claimed we interacted quite often. She was on a lot of flights, he says. The pilot testified that Maxwell oversaw Epstein's households. Okay, so I mean, this is where all the criminal activity was happening, in Epstein's household, and she oversaw that, but somehow she's innocent. Yeah, right. Question about Maxwell and Epstein's relationship, he said, I thought it was more personal than business. The duo remained close in the 2000s. Vysotsky said their relationship wasn't necessarily romantic, but it was couple-ish. There it is again. What does that mean? Vysotsky said he didn't see them holding hands or kissing. Vysotsky's testimony came after the defense's opening remarks. Maxwell led attorney Bobby Sternum. He cast the Britain as a patsy for the Epstein's crimes, going as far as to invoke the Bible. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. Read this. This is hilarious to me. The defense, I mean, how low can you go? Ever since, this is the defense of Maxwell saying this, ever since Eve was accused of tempting Adam for the apple, women have been blamed for the bad behavior of men, and women are often villainized and punished far more than men ever are. The charges against Maxwell are for things that Jeffrey Epstein did, not her. But she's not Epstein. She is not Jeffrey Epstein. And she is not like any of those other men, powerful men, moguls, media giants who abuse women. Before his argument, prosecutor Pomerantz argued this. Now, this is where it kind of went back and forth. Probably got the most heated. It says she knew what was going to happen to those girls. Yeah. Maxwell preyed on vulnerable girls and manipulated them and served them to be sexually abused, she said. The defendant was trafficking kids for sex. Facts. Maxwell was Epstein's best friend and right hand. She was involved in every detail of Epstein's life. The defendant and Epstein were partners in the crime. It's not that she was unaware and that only Epstein was the true monster. Maxwell was facing 2 counts for allegedly lying under oath, for which she will be tried separately. Those charges stem from a longtime Epstein accuser, Virginia. I'm going to try to say her last name, civil suit against Maxwell. So anyway, it's just very interesting, and I thought it would be quite entertaining to some degree how the defense is going to try to defend her. So they're invoking the Bible and bringing up Adam and Eve where convenient. But anyway, it's kind of crazy. But the bottom line is this. Day one has happened. I'm going to try to dig and get as much out as possible, but of course it not being televised is a huge disservice to humanity, because the people that are involved in this, you got Prince Andrew, you got the Clintons, you got celebrities, Jay-Z, you got all these people who've been to the island. This guy's been running this ring for decades, okay? And this is it, man. To me, this could be the stone in David's slingshot to take down Goliath, the pedophilia. That's what it's all rooted in. All the distractions, the pandemic, the BLM, Antifa, all this noise that's being made. Oh, anti-hate Trump, hate Trump. It's all about the kids. It's all about this criminal enterprise and how, sin goes as far as sin can go. And if you've ever been caught up in sin, you know that you give the devil an inch and he takes a mile. You'll always get to a point where you're like, man, I went further than I ever thought I would ever go. Why does that happen? Well, when you're completely as gone as these people are, and you're as blinded, and you got all these yes men, and you think you're untouchable and you have no accountability, think how bad and depraved the devil will take a human being. And we're all capable of going to depths that you never thought, the bottom of the abyss, without the grace of God. It's only his goodness and his grace that seasons us, that keeps us from really going to the depths of the human corrupt soul that we're capable of. We are completely helpless apart from Jesus Christ. I'm just telling you this is facts. Now, the good news is there is God. He is sitting at the right hand of the Father, Jesus Christ is, and he does preserve us, and he uses his people as the salt and light of the earth. And so we're going to sit here and shine the light on what's going on so people understand the depravity that's there, and we're going to pray through this that people get exposed, that this Maxwell lady will sing like a bird and name names. Why is it? I mean, did y'all see the CEO all on the same day at the beginning of this trial? You had the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. You had the CEO, I'm hearing, of, I think it was CNBC, and also it was one more. Oh, I should have it pulled up. Oh, there's 3 major CEOs who all stepped down the same day. I mean, what are they scared of? Y'all know what it is. You're a smart viewing audience. Y'all do. So anyway, as always, if you're watching on Odysee, I appreciate it. Make sure you follow me there. Make sure you subscribe to me on Rumble. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, and click that notification bell. If you feel so led, I have a link to my PayPal, my Cash App. You can go to the Mega Man merch store. The link is in the description as well as about 4 different articles, all covering some different perspectives on this day one of the trial. Know that the pilot is giving the full testimony, so I plan to be right back on here giving you the breakdowns and the takeaways of what he had to say on day 2. This is supposed to go for about 6 weeks, and interesting times, y'all. There's also, don't forget, the huge court case that could overturn Roe v. Wade is happening during this time, this week too. All this stuff, all this potential justice is right at the doorstep. Don't give up. Hold the line till the wheels fall off, baby. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
It's the Mega Man, and nah, that doesn't stand for hate. We're just saying it's time for education to be great. And if we keep on doing everything that we've been doing, it will no longer be our freedom that we're pursuing. It's now time to teach our students how to think and reason. If we don't, we'll keep on electing those guilty of treason. So listen up, as Mega Man is about to spit the truth. Gotta stop the powers that are coming after the youth.